Check testing 1, 2, 3. What that means. There we go. Ucha, do it for tuning in. Still trying to get this to work a little better. Yikes. That didn't work better. Okay, let's see if that's nice. Guess I can use this little plant. Ooh. Okay. Open the light. Okay. There we go. Ucha Ubenefer, do it for tuning in. Got some sage going here. And beautiful crystal bowl. Take these rings off. All right, Ubenefer, welcome to tonight's presentation from HeruScopes and Chematones. Looks like I have a question. Ubenefer. Let's see if I can read that name. Maria? No. I think it says Maria. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to begin tonight's presentation of the HeruScopes analysis for the new moon. And then the transmission, the Cosmic Chimes and Chanting session will be on Monday during the new moon. I decided to, break it into 2 parts so the sessions aren't so long. And so that we can tune into the analysis leading up to the new moon. And then during the new moon, we've already, we're already in alignment with the new moon. So I always start these sessions with the singing bowl, which is for grounding us and tuning us into the root chakra, which is the place of stability, financial freedom, security. It's the place where our trauma is stored also. So if we've experienced a lot of trauma, then that can affect our finances. So I like to start off with this bowl because, again, it tunes us into the earth. It's for grounding. And we go counterclockwise to open and then clockwise to close. So I'm just going to Om a few times. You can Om along with me. Oh right. And thank you for sending the love, all the beautiful hearts. I'm open to receive. All right. So, HeruScopes is a 13-month Kemetic sidereal astrology system that is based on the 13-month sidereal calendar, which follows the true motion of the sun and the planets through the constellations. The system that we're familiar with, the Western Babylonian system, is completely man-made. It does not reflect the natural motion of the stars, of the planets and the sun through the constellations. The Western system simply took the orbit of the Earth around the sun, divided it into 12 equal segments, and named each segment after a constellation. However, it does not reflect the true motion of the sun and the planets. The 13th constellation is called Ophiuchus in the Western astronomy system. It is there, they know about it. It's the largest constellation that crosses the ecliptic. However, for some reason, it's ignored by Babylonian astrologers. I think that is because they want to erase knowledge of the precession of the equinox, which is a very ancient count. The Mayans is the tradition that keeps the count active. It's a galactic count. It's not a calendar, it's a count. And it's at least 26,000 years old. I think it's older than that. And the precession of the equinox is proven by the existence of the seasons, because the seasons exist because the Earth is tilted 23.5 degrees. And so when it orbits, it orbits at a tilt. So it has it's like a spinning top. And it's called the precession of, if it didn't have precession of the equinox, it would just orbit like this. But due to the precession, it has a wobble. And so that's how we know there's a precession of the equinox. And we know Ophiuchus exists because it's the largest constellation that crosses the ecliptic. There's other constellations that do not cross the ecliptic that are very small, that are included in the zodiac. So for those two reasons, that's why I follow the 13-month sidereal astrology system. Eastern or Vedic astrology follows a sidereal system. However, they do not include Ophiuchus. Their months are the same number of days every month. With the sidereal system, I don't have my chart here with me. The sidereal system, the number of days in each month are not equal. For example, Scorpio is 7 days long, and Virgo is 45 days long, and the other constellations are varying number of days long. I don't have that cycle memorized. The 13th constellation of Ophiuchus is located between Scorpio and Sagittarius, and I think it is, yes, 18 days long. It starts on November 30th, and then on December 18th, it moves into Sagittarius. And we are still in the constellation of Sagittarius for a few more days. At this moment, the moon is in the sign of Ophiuchus, the 13th constellation. At HeruScopes and Chematones, we take these Greek archetypes, the Greek gods and goddesses, and take them back further to the Kemetic correspondences. Looks like we have a few comments. Uja Sweet Bee, it's so nice to see you here tonight. And Patrick Dix is always on time with these presentations. I appreciate your presence. And someone posted a comment. I'm not sure what that is, but I certainly appreciate your comments. It looks like someone writing something. Maybe that means you're taking notes. For those of you on TikTok, you can watch the replays on YouTube if you want to refer back to this transmission. Okay, notes. And then on Monday night at 11:30 p.m. Central, we'll be going through the new moon with the cosmic chimes and chanting transmission. Tonight is just the analysis. And the new moon is at 11:46 p.m. Central Time. That's why we started at 11:30. So we'll be going, we'll be playing through the new moon. All right. So the interesting thing about this new moon is they call it a black new moon. And if you've been following me for a while, you know I like to, debunk the so-called mysteries of Western mysticism, which we know they stole or borrowed from Kemet. So the reason they call it a black new moon or a blue full moon, a blue moon, is because there's 13 constellations and they're just trying to cover it up. We know for a fact that the lunar calendar has 13 months. There's 13 months of the year, 13 moons of the year, because the moon is where the word month comes from. And if you follow the lunar calendar, you know there's 13 months. If you follow the Native American lunar calendar, they have different names for every moon. There's 13 moons. If you follow the Mayan count, which they have broken up into a calendar, you'll see there's 13 months. If you follow the Dogon Sirius sidereal calendar, you'll see there's 13 months. For the this calendar, the 13-month sidereal calendar, the Mayan count, and the Dogon Sirius Earth Center calendar, there's 12 months, and then the 13th month is shorter. For example, in this calendar, the 13th month is that's short is the sign of Scorpio, which is only 7 days long. In the Naturian Holy Day calendar, there's a week of the time that Sirius rises again of 7 days. The other months are regular number of days, but there's just one, I call them strengths instead of weeks, one strength in particular that's 7 days long, and that represents the birth of the 7 netters, Asar, Aset, Heru, Set, Nebenhet, Heru, and Sirius. In the Dogon Sirius calendar from Mali, which is a traditional ancient African Egyptian Kemetic calendar, which consists of 12 months of 3 10-day weeks, what I call strengths. And then the 13th month is 5 days. And that represents the birth of Asar, Aset, Heru, Set, and Nebenhet. And it doesn't include Sirius or the 7th? Oh, Ra. The Naturian calendar includes Ra. So if you can see, these other indigenous calendars have 13 months, and they have a week that is shorter with 5 to 7 days. And the reason the Western calendar has a blue moon or a black moon is because during 1 month, you have 2 new moons. So that's why January, second moon, new moon, is called a black new moon. Or if you're in the UTC calendar zone, then you'll have 2 new moons in February, even though February is the shortest month. And the blue moons is when you have 2 full moons in one Western month. I don't know if they have a name for 2 quarter moons or 2 3/4 moons. I'm not aware of that. They don't make a big deal about that. There's several months in the year where you have 2 quarter moons or 2 3/4 moons. So that is the breakdown on the myth, not even the myth, the urban legend of a black new moon. The blue full moon was started in the 70s by a woman that worked at the observatory office at UT Austin. She's the one that came up with the whole blue full moon thing. So it doesn't have anything really to do with nature, because in nature we have 13 moons. So there's 13 months, and every month has a full moon, new moon, quarter moon, or third quarter moon. Now, the thing that I'm going to be studying in this coming year or season is the 13th month, Scorpio. I'm going to follow its new moon and its full moons, and it's only a week long, right? I want to find out how does all that work, because I really don't know at this point. So it's going to be interesting. I think what happens is it gets called Scorpio, but it's really Ophiuchus. I think that's what happens, but I don't know for sure. This is yummy. This is a Moroccan mint green tea. All right, so let's jump into the analysis for this black new moon in sidereal Sagittarius. I'm not sure. I suppose that in the Western calendar, we're in the month of Aquarius. Yeah. So I can't remember when it moves into Sagittarius. Moves into Capricorn. So I need to check that out too. All right. So we have the ephemeris that I used today is the one from NASA, JPL. The website that I usually use has been down for a while. So now I'm a little suspicious about the Sagittarius. I'm going to go ahead and do this analysis. I thought it was very peculiar and interesting, fascinating even, that we have 8 bodies in sidereal Sagittarius. We have the moon, the sun, Venus, Mars, Mercury, Pluto, Juno, and Vesta in sidereal Sagittarius. There's 10 bodies that are retrograde at this moment. And I did the presentation on retrograde a week ago or a few weeks ago, and you can find that replay on YouTube. So I have here the chimes for all the planets that, according to JPL NASA, are in sidereal Sagittarius. And we're not doing the transmission, we're just having the analysis for tonight. Not accepting. Okay. And I've also included the tones for Nibiru and Anpu. Anpu to open the way, because we're in the middle of this retrograde, and so it's easy for things to get confused, because people think all the changes going on are negative, but they're really positive, leading to breakthroughs and opportunities, revelations. And then Nibiru, or Nebheru, Lord of Heru, is a planet or asteroid that is kind of similar to Heru. Heru travels at an orbit that's perpendicular to the rest of the solar system, and Nibiru is the asteroid that intersects with the solar system every 3,600 years. And apparently it is crossing with our planetary orbit right now, and that some people have cited the second sun. They call it the second sun. I know that in China they are developing an artificial sun, so that would be the third sun. I wrote something, but you can start from the top or of you're confused. Oh, there we go. I wanted to put an ankh on my mother's grave, but I couldn't because my family members are Christian and not accepting. Oh, well, Maybe you could talk to them about the origin of the cross, and maybe they would understand that the cross is a descendant of the Ankh. That the Ankh, well, you probably already know, but you could explain to them that the Ankh symbolizes, on one level, the father, the mother, and child, and that the church cut the mother out and replaced it with the Holy Ghost and made it the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. They cut out the divine feminine. They don't even acknowledge the daughter. They just say the son. And then also it's a symbol of eternal life. And you could let them know that you'd like to place the Ankh there because you know that even though your mother's body has died, her soul and her spirit live forever, and you want to acknowledge, your family connection. So that's what I would do. I would just talk to them about it, and then let them know that that's where the cross came from. It's just a new version. So, and then what else could you do? You could, I don't know if you practice Reiki or Raseiki, but you could put the symbol of the Ankh there energetically, and then it would be there forever, no matter what. Just go there and take your Ankh and, draw the symbol of the Ankh with your Reiki, your Raseiki hand or your instruments, and you could chant Ankh over the grave, and then it would be there vibrationally, energetically. You wouldn't even need the physical Ankh. So I hope that helps you in some way. Okay. Okay, wonderful. So we're going to go through the meaning of the tones chosen for tonight based on NASA JPL. And I'm going to do some more research on this because I'm a little suspicious. But everything happens for a reason. So I have here the tone for Sagittarius, Sidereal Sagittarius. And all of these planets are in the sign of Sidereal Sagittarius, according to NASA and JPL. I say the website that I usually use is not up right now. So Sidereal Sagittarius is a constellation that looks like an arrow that's pointing towards Scorpio. It's pointing towards Ophiuchus and Scorpio. And it symbolizes, aiming for higher consciousness. Or Sagittarius also represents, traveling, a traveling energy. So we're sailing towards higher consciousness. Ophiuchus is symbolized by a man with a snake wrapped between his legs, and he's getting ready to step on the back of the scorpion. And that symbolizes humanity choosing alternative healing techniques and conquering our lower nature, conquering lower vibrations, like assault, things like that. And that's what we're doing as a planet and as a as humanity. That's what we're going through. So Sagittarius represents traveling, represents stamping out our lower nature, means heading towards our higher consciousness, our higher nature. And it is symbolized in this system by Asar Amun. Asar Amun. So you'll hear me say Asar Amun, which is a blend of Asar and Amun. And Asar appears in this transmission as, where's Jupiter? I have Amun. Okay, as Pluto. We'll get to that later. So in this context, Sar Amun represents the witnessing consciousness of Amun. It's a vibration that's always present. And Asar represents the soul, transformation of the soul. So in this instance, all of these planets, including the sun, are in the vibration of that voice that witnesses everything and leads us to enlightenment. And that's where we're headed. So you heard me talk about all the gods and goddesses have a boat that they travel on that takes them across the ocean of consciousness. And so do we. We each have a boat, we can use in our meditations of us sailing towards enlightenment through the ocean of consciousness, across rivers of toxic REU, like triggers and emotions that just, spew up. We're on this boat and we want to have smooth sailing. So that's what this transmission will be about. Shasheta is the new moon in this system. The new moon, the quarter moons, and the full moon is represented by Lord Jehuti. Shasheta is the cosmic scribe, and she's the goddess that's featured in the announcement for this transmission. She's usually wearing a panther skin or leopard skin, which represents a goddess or priestess, priest or priestess. She is the only goddess that is seen with a pen that's actually writing. She's known as the cosmic scribe. She's the partner for Jehuti, and she keeps track of all of his writing, spells, teachings. It has been said that she is the one that came up with the Meta Nectar, and she gifted that to Jehuti, and then he taught it to humanity. He gets all the credit. But she actually came up with the Meta Nectar. She is the goddess of astronomy, astrology, mathematics, geometry, sacred geometry, architecture, engineering. She's the time reckoner. She is the librarian, the patroness of the library. She keeps track of accounting, filing, history. She keeps track of the life of the pharaoh. And I rely on Shasheta for all of my marketing campaigns, all my filing, all my record keeping. She's also the goddess of the Sephik Bara, the goddess of the chakras. And she's one of my favorite goddesses. So at the new moon, this is the time to write out our intentions. So at this new moon, we write out our intentions on the sign of Sagittarius with our travels. And like I said, I'm a little suspicious of this JPL reading, but I'm going to keep going and I'll have an update on Monday. So this is the time to write out your intentions, your affirmations. It's the time to write out your new moon abundance check. That's when you write a check to yourself from the universe for whatever amount of money you'd like to manifest. And you just put it away and don't think about it. And then one day in the future, you'll be going through your papers and you'll realize that check, came through. You cashed it in. This is the time to clean your crystals, put them in the energy of the new moon. And it's a time for new beginnings. So I would say for our spiritual journey, if there's anything that has gotten off track, or, like me, you kind of got off track with your yoga practice, this is a good time to start again. Anything that's on your journey towards enlightenment, it's time to start again. I wish it was time for me to start traveling again. Next, we have Mercury. Jehuti is in Sidereal Sagittarius, and Mercury is also retrograde in Sidereal Sagittarius. Mercury is the sign of Lord Jehuti. It is associated with being very quick and fast, intelligence, divine intellect. The cosmic mind is another aspect of Lord Jehuti. We have three minds. We have we have our finite, limited mind, which is housed in our brain, and it deals with our day-to-day affairs and the functioning of our body, of our life support systems. And the brain is divided in two. So it's also said to be where our ego resides, that mind that's always doubting everything and is always negating everything and has trouble making decisions and going back and forth between things. Yes, no, up, down, left, right, hot or cold, because we live in an illusion, a duality. And so the limited mind is trying to keep up with the delusion of the illusion, and it can drive people insane. So it's best to tune into the infinite mind, right? Which fills the limited mind. If we can stop thinking and shut off the limited mind, then we can access our infinite mind. Do I know the story of King Ramses? Do I know the story of King Ramses? Well, I know there's more than one King Ramses, so I don't know which one you're thinking of. I know the story of Ramses is different from the one they teach in the Bible. In Kemet, Ramses, I don't know if it was Ramses the second or the fourth, is the son or grandson of, now I'm getting them mixed up. Akhenaten. And is responsible for building, I think he's the son of Seti, for finishing the temple of Asar at Abydos and the temple of Abu Simbel in Amun-Ra Abu Simbel. I'm not specifically sure. But in the Western tradition, he's said to be the one that enslaved the Hebrews and separated the Red Sea. But in reality, in truth, he's the one that kicked out a lot of invaders and was able to reunite northern and southern Kemet. And this was at a time when the spiritual legacy of Kemet had been threatened and was in jeopardy of disappearing forever. And after Ramses and his other colleagues and counterparts were able to kick the invaders out, it wasn't quite the same, because now it was more defense oriented than enlightenment oriented. So that's what I know about it. If you want to share something, go ahead and type it in. I just know that the story we get from the West is different from the truth. Okay, so back to Jehuti. So we tune into the infinite mind, and that is what is projecting our experience, is projecting our reality, because this is more like a hologram than a physical reality, because we know everything is not solid. This is actually composed of molecules that are moving very slowly, vibrating very slowly. And even though it's connected to this felt ball, they're vibrating at a frequency different than this ball, which is also moving very slowly. But to our eyes, it appears solid. And so we open up to the infinite mind, and we're able to see, pierce through the veil of creation, pierce through the illusory existence of nature. And so we want to tune into the infinite mind. And if we're able to tune into the infinite mind, then we'll already know that the infinite mind is filled with the wisdom and knowledge of the cosmic mind of Jehuti, the one mind. So we allow the one mind of creation to fill our infinite mind. And then it comes into our limited mind as the duality. So we want to tune into the cosmic mind. We want to travel beyond the limitations of our limited mind and pierce through the veil of creation and access our infinite mind, which is filled with divine intelligence from Lord Jehuti. So that is the intention. And we have Ra representing the sun. Ra is the symbol of creation. Ra is not the ultimate, absolute, infinite, omnipresent essence of the universe. Ra is the creation itself. But Ra had a creator. Ra is not its own creator. Ra is created by Kepra. Kepri is the creator of creation. And Kepri is created by Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar came forth into existence in the form of the god Kepri, who is the creator of the gods and goddesses, the creator of cosmic forces. Ra actually has three aspects. Kepri or Kepra is sunrise, Ra is midday, and Ra Tem or Timura is sunset, is at the end of the day in the west. So when we say Ra, and specifically we're speaking of the midday of the middle of the day, and we're referring to the actual physical creation. But all of this is created by Nebuchadnezzar. So that's very important. Sebaja refers to Ra as a paraclete, not the creator, but a symbol of the creator. So in this system, Ra represents our creativity. And we want to use our creativity. We want to use all of these aspects of our personality to assist us on our journey towards enlightenment. So we want to use our creativity to fuel our boat. That's what I do. I use my music to fuel my boat. My boat that's sailing towards enlightenment is my music. And so my creativity comes through in my music. So wherever your creativity comes through, that's what you use to fuel your boat on your journey to enlightenment. Uja Munti. Thank you for sending me likes. So whatever your creativity is, that's what you use to fuel your boat to enlightenment. And you always want to use your creativity in this way. You never want to use your creativity in the direction that's opposite of your enlightenment. And that would mean out of alignment with Ma'at, because Ma'at is seated at the front of the boat. Ra has a boat, and Ra's boat makes the journey across the sky throughout the day and then goes to the netherworld at night. So if you've seen those images of Ra on his boat, you have visualized yourself on your boat. And so Ra's boat is fueled by, I guess, creation, because Ra is creation. But we're talking about your boat. So you want your boat to be in alignment with Ma'at, because Ma'at is at the head of the boat of Ra. And Ma'at is the very first thing that was created, was Ma'at. So that Ma'at permeates everything. And Ma'at is the goddess of balance, truth, order, justice, harmony, reciprocity, and righteousness or propriety. And so you want to have your creativity in the direction of Ma'at. You want it to be in alignment with Ma'at. You want it to stand for Ma'at. You want your creativity to be one with Ma'at, so that it's always balanced, it's always harmonious, it's always purified. You know, even the most negative, evil, toxic people can live in alignment with Ma'at. Ma'at, there's no judgment. You know, well, when your body dies, your heart is weighed against the feather of Ma'at. And if it's heavy with regrets, longings, sadness, etc., you'll come back to have to be reincarnated. But it's not a judgment of this was good or this was bad, because that's only in the duality that you have that type of judgment. But even the most toxic, negative people can be Ma'at. It's weird, I know. But we have to see Ma'at without judgment. And so the best thing for you to do is to direct your creativity in alignment with Ma'at, in alignment with balance, truth, order, justice, harmony, reciprocity, and righteousness. So at the new moon, this is a time for us to, start again. So if any of your practices you fell off, you get to start again with a clean slate. Also, we talk about the new moon being the cosmic scribe. And so you can use your creativity in your writing. Like when you're writing your intentions, you don't have to just make a list. You can, make a drawing showing all your intentions. You can devise your own symbology for your intentions. I learned from Japanese culture when I was in Buddhism. You get a piece of graph paper and you draw the outline of what you want to manifest. And then every time you chant for 15 minutes, or you could, you say every time you meditate for 15 minutes, every time you do some spiritual practice for 15 minutes, you color in you can do 5 minutes. You color in the square. And then after consistent practice, you look at your artwork and you've almost colored in everything. And also, lo and behold, the thing you wanted to manifest has manifested. And I know this works because I did this to manifest my home in Chicago, California, when I still lived in Austin. And I've started other drawings, but I haven't been consistent like I was at that time. Back then, I was chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo an hour a day or 2 hours a day. And I manifested that house in the country. And I got away from that practice because I wanted to know more about my African traditions and African technologies. And so I've learned other chants that bring about enlightenment. However, when there's like a practical thing, like I can't find my keys, I do the Anpu chant to open the way, and then I do the Lotus Sutra chant, Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, because it never fails. When you're looking for something or you need something to happen or a breakthrough or an emergency, it never fails. Never fails. However, with that chant, you have to be consistent to build up the energy. And so that's what I'm doing with my life right now is I'm organizing all these wonderful spiritual tools that I've gathered from the four directions so that I can, my main practice is Natarian. However, there's other practices from the other directions that are very useful. And so I'm getting it so that I'm more consistent with all of them so that I will be even more powerful with my intentions and manifestations while not getting caught up in them. Because I think that was what happened before. I was kind of caught up in the physicality and not enough in the spirituality. And so that's why I'm grateful for the sound healing and Chatau Netter, the Natarian practices that keep me, like the caduceus balance of physical and spiritual. Okay, so that's Ra. Now, Heteru is representing the planet Venus, and Venus is also retrograde. So we have these massive portal openings going on right now. So Heteru is one of my favorite netters. He also is connected to the goddess Sekhmet. Oh, and Moon Tea saying you want to learn more. I am going to be starting to teach classes very soon. The first class will be Introduction to the Netters, the gods and goddesses, the cosmic forces of nature. And that will lead us into a teaching of the yoga posture system. And it will serve as the introduction to Kimatones level 1 for sound healing. And also for anyone wanting to learn more about the HeruScopes astrology system. In the meantime, if you want to learn more, I have oodles and oodles of videos on YouTube at my music channel, Tachia Amet, and also at the Kimatones Cosmic Sound Healing YouTube channel. So you can go there. And then at the lightbeingwellness.com website, I have some of my old blog posts. The rest of the blog posts are at tachia.wordpress.com. Okay, I hope that helps. All right, so back to Heteru. Heteru is considered the most powerful goddess of the Netters because she and Sekhmet are really one goddess. They're two aspects of one goddess. And Heteru was sent to earth by Ra to eliminate the unrighteous that are living on earth because they had forgotten their divinity, they had forgotten their origin, and they had forgotten about Ra. So Heteru was sent to earth to kill the unrighteous. And when she got to earth, she took on the form of Sekhmet, the lioness goddess. And she began doing a good job killing the unrighteous. However, she enjoyed her job so much that she began killing indiscriminately. She began killing the righteous and the unrighteous, and she became a bloodthirsty killer. So Lord Jehuti was sent to earth to bring Heteru back to her divinity. So when we're talking about the Netters, we have to remember not only to acknowledge the deity, but to acknowledge the cosmic force that they symbolize. So again, Jehuti represents the cosmic mind, divine intellect, Ra, our creativity, and Heteru represents divine love and beauty, and Sekhmet is the warrior healer goddess. So we have to, this informs us that when we lose our way, when egoism takes over our lives or takes over our mind, we can use divine wisdom and intellect to bring us back. Lord Jehuti told 4 parables to Heteru or Sekhmet, and she was able to remember who she is and reclaim her divinity and return to her divine state as a goddess. And so that means that during this time of the new moon in Sidereal Sagittarius, according to NASA and JPL, our journey to enlightenment at this time of the new moon will include a revelation of the beauty path. The beauty path means being able to see the beauty in all things, no matter how dreadful the experience or how horrendous or how awful things may be at the moment. With the beauty path, the vision of Heteru, we're able to see the goodness in all things, the beauty in all things. We're able to see the gift in the adversity. We're able to remember our divinity, even though at the moment our egoism may have, made us a little shaky. It's not able to shake us off of our inner throne. So at this time, we just have to remember that as we're sailing to enlightenment, that no matter what happens, we have this ability to see the beauty in all things. Okay, so Bliss Baby has asked a question. How does this new moon affect Aquarius? Okay, so that's a very good question. These readings at HeruScopes I have not taken them to the point of each sign, but I'm going to try it out for the first time with you because you asked this question. These readings show us how we can win by living in alignment with the netters that are affected during or activated during these events during the new moon. So in this reading, I have the new moon is in Sidereal Sagittarius, which is ruled by a Sar and a moon. And so in this analysis, I'm going over the different netters that are also in this constellation with the new moon. And so this reading applies to everyone. Now, Heru is the one that affects the sign of Aquarius. And Heru is the netter that deals with spiritual victory. So according to this reading, I would say that you would experience spiritual victory. Oh, sign of Aquarius. Okay. This is a sidereal reading, and the sidereal reading is different from the Western reading. There's actually 13 constellations along the ecliptic, and the 13th constellation is Ophiuchus. And according to this system, we have not gotten to Aquarius yet. I'm using a tool tonight that is different from the one that I usually use, and I'm not convinced that it's accurate. So this reading is the analysis, and then on Monday I will have the updated information, and we'll have the transmission. Tonight I'm just going over the netters that are in the sign of Sidereal Sagittarius. So that is why this reading is not about Aquarius. I am on the opinion that it's actually Sidereal Capricorn, and I'm not sure why the NASA website has Sagittarius. It might be that it's just changing in the moment. But on Monday night, I will have the updated information. At the very least, it's always good to go over the netters, no matter what. After I go over all the netters, then I will have the summary of the whole reading. So I hope that answers your question. If you're born on the sign of Aquarius, more than likely you're a Sidereal Capricorn. And that is why I am not sure about why NASA said as Sagittarius. Because I know that it should be Capricorn. Okay, so we're going to go on to... So Heru, as I said, is considered the most powerful goddess because she was able to reclaim her divinity by opening up to her cosmic mind. And so that's what Venus can teach us. What Heru is here to teach us. And that is what is being invoked in us at this time. And remember, Venus is retrograde, and in this system we see that as a portal opening, which means we have opportunities for intense revelations, breakthroughs, and expansion of consciousness, which is another aspect of Sagittarius. Okay, so Pluto is representing Asar. Asar is the universal soul. Asar is the netter that was tricked by egoism by his brother Set and was locked into a coffin, sent up the river, and grew into a tree. And the tree was cut down by the king of Persia, Syria, and used as a pillar in the palace. Asar has been through a lot. If you're familiar with the legend of the Lion King, you kind of already know about Asar because the Lion King is a modern day version of the Asarian resurrection, or one aspect of the Asarian resurrection. Being tricked by your brother and murdered, and then your son, Heru, Aquarius, Uranus, has to redeem the father. In the mysticism, Asar represents the universal soul, is tricked by egoism, and is redeemed by the cosmic force of spiritual victory. Spiritual victory is Aquarius. Spiritual victory is the essence of Heru. Pluto is ruled by Sidereal Sagittarius, and so it's exalted during this time. It's also retrograde during this time. So it's another opportunity for transformation from death to rebirth, because that's the experience of Asar. Asar's body dies and is reborn in eternity. And so we can have similar experiences in our lives of death and rebirth leading to enlightenment, which is similar to seeing the beauty in all things and the gift in every adversity. It's just training your mind to always respond in this way rather than this negative spiral downward of egoism, pity, regret, guilt, fear, doubt, lust, anguish, etc. Last but not least, we have the planet Mars, which is also retrograde according to this system. And Mars, of course, represents set, egoism, and being able to defeat the ego, being able to control or tame our egoism as we make this journey towards enlightenment. Our egoism can come up at the most awkward moments and turn the boat over. And we've got to learn how to steer the boat so that Heru is guiding the boat, not Set, not our ego. There's a constant struggle between ego and our victory, between ego and our consciousness, our royal personality to steer the boat. All right, so based on this reading from Nassau JPL, which I'm going to confirm in time for Monday's transmission. So we may have another analysis on Monday. However, according to this reading, we're sailing towards eternity. We're writing our intentions for the journey. We're tuned into the cosmic mind of Jehuti, using our creativity to fuel our boat. Our consciousness is expanding on the journey so that we're able to see the beauty in all things, the gift in every adversity, no matter what's going on, leading to a transformation of our consciousness from death to rebirth on this journey. And we always make sure that Heru is steering the boat, that Set is at the front of the boat, defeating ignorance, chaos. And we have the code for success and Anpu to open the way. All right, so that is the breakdown for this reading based on the wisdom of the Nassau JPL website. And I will be back Monday evening at 11:30 p.m. Central for the Cosmic Chimes and Chanting of this analysis. Or I'll be back with another analysis. Thank you for tuning in. A tap. If you'd like to get an astrology reading with this system, you can order it at lightbeingwellness.com, and you can receive the chart with analysis, the chart analysis with the consultation. You can receive the chart analysis consultation with a Cosmic Chimes and Chanting session with chants created just for your birth date, never been sung before in this lifetime. And you can also get one in alignment with a sound healing session. You can get all that information at lightbeingwellness.com. And for those of you on TikTok, the replay of this session is available at YouTube. A tap. See you Monday night at 11:30 p.m.